Hello, good morning. This is QTV This Morning. We are back again on another edition. So wherever you're watching this program, thank you very much for always tuning in. My name is Ibrahim Abalde. We are broadcasting from the Gambia, West Africa on QCell Avenue. So if you're just tuning in, welcome to QTV This Morning. I am with Mr. Ade Drame. Mr. Ade, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Balde.
How are you?
I'm barely awake. I stayed up to watch football till early hours of the morning.
Yeah, I watched the Ghana game yesterday, but it was so late. I went to bed. I didn't finish the second half started, then I went to bed.
And I don't even know how they won that game. They were dreadful.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I think it was 1-0. Ghana got
95th minute.
I went through the records this morning. Yeah, so we are back again, and we have Bala Musa Kurbali as our newspaper review guest. Good morning, Bala.
Good morning, Mr. Balde, and good morning, Mr. Darame.
Good morning, Mr. Kurbali.
Morning to our viewers. Yeah, good to
How
be
are you?
Again. I'm fine, alhamdulillah.
Good. So we'll take a look at the African code, and of course, from there the newspaper review, and Chef Sekou Bojang would be here, Mr. Ade.
The one and only Chef Bojang, yeah. And to be, somebody who's won many awards, definitely put Gambia on the gastronomy map. And yeah, always somebody who, a lot of people look up to him.
Yeah.
And it would be great to speak to him later. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's delve into the African proverb. And Mr. Ade, can you do that for us?
Yeah, I'll pretend to be Mr. Mboj.
Yes, I wanted to say Mboj.
The eye that has seen the ocean does not fear the rain. The eye that has seen the ocean does not fear the rain. Mr. Balde, what is your take?
It's telling you experience is the greatest teacher. I mean, it's telling you when you go through big things in life, the smaller things doesn't bother you much. Sometimes some difficulties can be a learning point for you. When you learn the hard way, it is always much easier to face the smaller challenges. So it's telling you going through hardship sometimes can make you a stronger person. Yeah.
Good one. Mr. Kurbali, what is your take on it?
Yeah, similar to what Balde just said, but I'll take it a little bit slightly different.
Right.
Mine will be, I think it's trying to tell you that you should be willing and ready to take up challenges or risks.
Okay.
Because like Balde said, you experience.
Yes.
When you experience things, experience is the best teacher, like they always say.
Okay. Yeah.
But also sometimes you don't get to have the experience when you don't take certain challenges or when you don't take certain risks. So you have to be willing to take risks and to take up challenges.
Right.
And risk taking sometimes, it turns out to be, an experience for you. Either you fail or you succeed. And there is this person I was listening to some time ago online who says there is nothing like failure in trying. Every failure is one way, most in business, every failure is an experience.
You learn from
every failure helps you to improve. So people should not take failures like, oh, I failed and you just give up. No,
quite.
You try you fail.
Yeah.
You do it again. You will not do what you have done before that made you fail. You'll try a different approach. So that's it. It's just broaden your experience. So once you experience, you will be ready to take up challenges similar to what you've done because you will know what to do to tackle it.
Fail 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 times and still get up 10.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, my take is similar to yours, I have to say, because obviously the ocean contains more water than you can imagine.
Yeah.
So
Bigger challenge.
if you've seen something as big as that, then rainfall, yes, rains can cause flood and so on. The smaller thing is like you're saying, don't sweat the small stuff. When you've seen the big stuff you've been through, the big stuff, don't let the small things derail you. So sometimes, you're doing a job or something, and then you start paying attention to sometimes the little detail matters, of course, but don't obsess over that. Don't let that outweigh the bigger.
So let us try.
You always look at it in a bigger picture.
Let us try to put it this way. However, comfort zones. I mean, sometimes you will hear people tell you, move away from your comfort zones. You understand? Go and take up bigger challenges. Go and do, go and dare the devil. You understand? At some point, you know, you will be able to.
But isn't that the opposite of this? Because this is said, if you've seen the ocean, I mean, how big is the ocean?
Yeah.
It's huge.
The ocean can literally mean.
An ocean literally covers the whole world.
It can literally mean you moving from your comfort zone, you understand,
the bigger one,
and go to the ocean.
No, the ocean is
bigger
than the rain.
So here in this sense,
is the ocean bigger than the
here
rain?
in this sense, moving from the comfort zone means the river.
No, I said river. I said rain.
Yes, I understand.
The eye that has seen the ocean does not fear the rain.
I understand.
No, let's deal with the proverb.
No, you know, the proverb sometimes can take you to different angles.
I know, but I'm trying to get your angle.
So I'm not disputing it. I'm just very open-minded here.
Yeah, yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm saying the ocean is big, is wide, is huge. The rain is, because, for example, the ocean covers the globe. Yes?
Absolutely.
It might rain here. It might not even rain in Basse. That's
no. Don't say it might rain at Caraba Avenue. It will not rain in Tallinn.
or Coastal Road.
Yeah.
You know, so the rain is a smaller thing. So what it's saying is that you've seen the bigger thing. You've you've experienced the bigger thing. Don't let the small thing bug you or distract you. Yeah.
So that's why I said that's why I took a different angle. I said you know, because seeing the bigger things, you know, build you up for, you know, even bigger challenges, you know.
Yes.
So the little ones, you know, won't scare you.
They won't scare you.
Because you've seen things that are way more than that.
I'm trying to put it this way. I mean, going for the bigger challenges, it's moving from your comfort zone. That's what I'm trying to put. I don't know whether you understand.
I doubt it.
Yeah, probably the angle that I am putting it, you did not understand that perspective. You know, but we are all saying the same thing here.
I don't think so.
It's just like, let me put it this way then. Let me put it in a very maybe easy context. Let's say someone who have been to Bagwe, you know, and, you know, went to Italy, or Spain.
Yeah, right.
And then, you know, you go with the person to, let's say, maybe Iditenda, Bambatenda, and be like, oh, you know, we cannot cross this place because, you know, it's big and all that. The person will look at you and be like, are you kidding me?
I crossed the thing.
I crossed the Atlantic Ocean.
It's like you're speaking to an astronaut and he's been to the moon and back. And then you're telling him, oh, I'm going to fly from here to Dakar and I'm worried. And you're like, my guy, what are you talking about? I've been to the moon and back. You know, why am I worried about flying from here to Dakar?
All right. So, I mean, let's take a short break. After the break, then, we take a look at the newspapers. So we'll be back. Thank you very much. We are back after that break. Now, the Standard newspaper, government to replace Manga in Anti-Corruption Commission. You know, the Anti-Corruption Commission was formed, and, you know, people were identified and chosen to be the commissioners for that commission. So now Manga is to be replaced by the government of the Gambia. You know, few months back we've seen, you know, scandals going around in connection with, can I call it a fraud or something? You know, regarding Manga himself. So could this be the reason why the government is replacing him at the Anti-Corruption Commission?
I don't know if you want to come in or...
Well,
I was just going to say, it's interesting that this has come out now because only last week Gambia Participates held a press conference. And they had two things on the agenda of that press conference. One was their delay in establishing the commission to get it up and running, and the other was NAWEC. And so they split it in half. It was like a 45-minute press conference. Half dealt with the NAWEC and the electricity problems. The other dealt with this. And what Mar Nyang said was that, oh, government is not interested. They're not committed to establishing this. And at the time, government didn't respond. But now this story has been covered in all the newspapers virtually. And it's actually the vice president who said that there's been a nominee who's you know, there are concerns over this nominee being on this because there have been allegations against this person, and it wouldn't seem right because that person might themselves end up being examined by the commission. So that's kind of where we find ourselves, really.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's the VP who made the recording at the National Assembly, and I just saw other papers carried, but they just said nominee. But standard newspapers.
They named.
Yeah, they didn't name any. But standard newspaper saying is Manga. You know, so one would say, okay, maybe because of what happened, you know, with the allegation that you know it was alleged to have collected money, to favor someone who was in a case. Something like that. And we all know Anti-Corruption Commission, people who are involved in it should be as clean as a white
even
cloth.
the name indicates
it should not be even a single stain on it. So, because we expect these people to hold others to account. So, you cannot hold others to account if you yourself are not, straightforward, one would say. So, definitely, I will just give a good example. Like, there was some time ago, I was watching the former boss of the EFC, is it EFCC in Nigeria?
Okay, yes. Economic.
EFFC or EFCC, I don't know, something like that.
Economic and Fraudulent Crimes Commission.
Commission, EFFC, So, the commissioner came out. He was talking about a particular pastor, saying how they were investigating that pastor.
Right.
And because they saw money coming in from all angles to the pastor's account, when they did investigate, and they later found out that, okay, these were donations, money coming in because charity work and all that. So when they engaged the pastor, they said, no, don't worry, we investigated, but you're clean. But guess what? He was, I guess, he was sacked because he wasn't supposed to do that as the chair of an anti-corruption, commission or a body that fights corruption. So there are certain institutions that are very sensitive, and one is the anti-corruption. So anybody who works for this institution should be as clean, like I said, as a white cloth without a single stain on it. But for me, the first time we are having something like this, I don't think, even though we've seen a lot of cases, alleged, corruption cases that we see surface on social media and all that, and everybody wants to see, something done about it. But I think if we want to do something, we do it better. Let's not rush it. So imagine if this was rushed and something like this comes up, it's going to, I believe, in one way or the other, hamper the integrity of the commission. So
I agree with Bala 100%. I keep using the phrase in my team: do it right, don't do it right now. And there is a difference. Sometimes people rush and say, oh, why isn't it? They'll be the same ones who will complain if you establish the commission and then halfway into its first investigation, somebody has to recuse themselves, remove themselves from the thing, and then they say, oh, you see, you shouldn't have, So sometimes you have to do it slowly, but do it right. Because if you appoint people and you are certain about their integrity and you've got no qualms about it, you can chill, you can relax. Once that is set up, is established, then they can go ahead. And what we all want is for a commission of this nature to have the teeth to investigate and prosecute. Because if all they do is investigate, then trust me, nothing will happen, because we've seen all these audit reports, all these commissions of inquiry, they make recommendations and they just gather dust on the shelf. That's not where we want to be. Otherwise, you're just pretending that you're
I think even in Sierra Leone, one time I was watching, is it AYV TV? And they invited the head of the anti-corruption commission.
He's in the media every day.
Definitely. So I was just going on, I was just checking my feeds on Facebook and I saw it. So he was talking about some of the things they do. And, I don't know how this one is going to be set up, but most of them, like you said, can investigate, prosecute. They even have like a certain arm group that are attached to them. So I don't know how this one is going to work, because when he explained that, then I get to understand that is more like the EFFC in Nigeria, because they have armed men who are tied to them, and they have lawyers.
That's right.
Investigators
and in Sierra Leone, it wasn't always the case. So initially, when the Anti-Corruption Commission was established, all it did was investigate and hand over to the Parliament. We have a House of Parliament. And it will go to the House of Parliament and then eventually to the President. And none of those cases went anywhere. And so, of course, people complained. And so they amended the law to say that this commission can now investigate and prosecute, because you have an investigative arm, and you have a prosecutorial arm, and those people, their job is to prosecute once the evidence is there to prosecute, and so that's.
And that is the only way it will be, the body will become effective. But like we see with the audit reports, they do their audits, they take it to the National Assembly.
Everybody goes.
National Assembly, talks about it and all that. But they don't know what happened next. Like we've had certain government, people in authority coming out to say, audit reports are opinions, things like that, Right. So I think this commission will only be effective if they can investigate, like we said, and prosecute.
Yeah, so Minister admits misinforming Assembly on maternal deaths.
That's the Minister of Health.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know what he meant by that, whether he gave the wrong figure in terms of the more deaths or less. So we don't know the details. I don't know if Ade is previewed.
But I mean, for me, it's the way the newspaper put it. Sometimes I think it's for the minister admits misinforming.
That's a headline. Yeah, you have to go to the story to understand.
That may very well. He may say, I apologize for misinforming the assembly. These are the figures and these are the ones I should have given.
So it would have been would have been interesting for us.
If we have had the paper here, we would have
we would have understand
to know exactly.
What is the statistics too?
Yeah, quite.
That is
because I know that some time ago was it a politician now, an NHA Yasin came out to say, we have visited 1,000 or something like that.
She exaggerated it by
so
how many 100%.
Before the parliament, and he said, no, it's this. So now I don't know if the minister is trying to add a little bit to that figure or still say, oh, no, maybe I said 20. It's not even 20,
so
it's
that,
15
that
instead.
we cannot know until we delve into the story.
Yeah, because when that lady came out with that, there were published figures as to what the rates are, because these are published. And if anybody had done their due diligence, because I went online, and I'll be honest, and criticized her. I said all you had to do was get the statistics and do your own addition. You didn't even have to rely on the minister or anybody else. But she completely, by several 100%, she was out, not just a minimal thing. If it was, nobody would worry, but she was seriously out of.
And those are very sensitive issues.
Of course.
We find, we all know politicians make political comments and all that, but not comments that are serious of, that's why the minister came out immediately to debunk
to clarify that. Yes, appeal against Sonko's return to parliament collapses.
At the Constitutional Court.
Usman Sonko.
I saw it last night.
Return to parliament.
Because some opposition members had said that the way it was done was unconstitutional. Others were saying, don't waste your time, you're not going to win this case. And it was resolved very, very quickly. Some of them went ahead against advice, took the case, and of course, it got, because you're wasting your time, either the courts, or if it had come back to the National Assembly itself, they would have found some way of, making it so that he's it's not a problem. So it was a waste of time. But so he can carry on.
But this also tells you how strong the institutions are in Senegal. When we look at when they had their issues, was it in 2024 or 2023 when Macky was supposed to leave and he postponed the elections and all that?
Right, yes.
The Constitutional Court came in and all that. So they have very strong institutions. And when Sonko also did this, they said, okay, let it go. We'll go to the Constitutional Court.
That is how it should be.
Yeah, but interesting times in Senegal, because I think in countries like most of I think the Francophone countries, most of them have that law where the president can dissolve the parliament after 2 years. When you think they are not pushing the government's agenda, or they are going against the interest of the country as a whole. So and that is something a lot of people are saying might happen in October. I think that is when he will have the powers to dissolve the parliament, because Sonko, when he came first in his speech, he said he's not going to use this position to fight the government or to block their agenda, because he put Senegal first and all that. But we all know the politicians, the things that they say and what they do.
And are completely different.
So let's see. But Senegal is going to be very interesting in the coming years.
Even the statement that Jomai Faye put out yesterday, in some of the appointments, he's made some new appointments, and he's off to Ghana now for this reparations conference. I don't know if Gambia sent anybody where they said, the slave trade was the worst crimes against humanity ever. So there's a conference now about reparations taking place in Ghana. He's flown out for that. But before he flew out, he put out a statement saying that, you know, the reason he's invited the IMF back is because, you know, if people are serious about Senegal, we have to tackle both our internal and external debt. And, you know, he said that is the only thing that is driving myself and my government, and that's the only thing that should concern anybody who loves Senegal. So that's a kind of very pointed message. You know, he's kind of throwing shade.
Yeah, and you know, Sonko is totally against that, and that was why IMF, you know.
And you know, in the realistic world, you can't ignore the IMF.
No, you can't.
You have to deal with them at some point. So, you know, whether the terms under which you deal with them, that's open to debate rather.
So that's why I said, and you know, no matter what the government agrees with the IMF or intend to agree with the IMF, it has to go through the parliament. That's why I said interesting times in Senegal, because you know the
if
party has absolute majority.
If the parliament block it,
and the president will start saying, okay,
you wait till
October, and you know, and Sonko also says, you know, if they want to do otherwise, I have the power to you know, to is it dissolved government and all that, you know. But you know, Senegal, when you say dissolved government, a lot of people don't understand. It means the prime minister and his government is not the president.
Not just the president.
President is different. It's different. So a lot of people don't understand. That's why they say sometimes the prime minister is the head of the government. It's the president. It's the way they operate.
They have their system. So Barrow launches, on the Point newspaper, Barrow launches manifesto agenda and digital platform tomorrow at OIC, 9 a.m.
This is the NPP.
He is to launch.
NPP launch.
Manifesto.
So we are in, we've said it many times before, that once it's 1st of January, the starting gun has been fired on in an election year, particularly a presidential election year. And so there's been all the kind of maneuverings online, in the newspapers, on social media, and now they're coming up with a 9-point agenda. So there's a manifesto, and of course the reason you boil it down to 9 points is because it's easier for people to remember those things. Sometimes it's 5 points because people can remember 5 things.
I think I can remember UDP's 10-point agenda, something like that.
And 10 points and 5 are usually there. So when they said 9, I was like, just add one more. You know, because that's the norm. You know, so it will be interesting to see what this agenda is, because if you look at it really and truly, and I think this is why everybody who says I want your vote, they're essentially saying the same thing. I want what's best for the Gambia. Everybody. Nobody says I want the worst for the Gambia.
Most of these manifestos, they all look alike.
This is it. Because, you know, but what you have to do is examine some of the ambitions and the proposals. How achievable are they?
Some of them are realistic when you look at it. Looking at our, you know, current situation, you can.
I mean, once I was sitting here and we had an opposition politician sitting where you are, and he was talking about, you know, creating jobs, and I said, okay, tell me how you would create 100 jobs. He couldn't answer that question. Not 1,000, not 50,000. He could not answer the question of how, and yet he was saying that that was one of their ambitions. How can you say that's your ambitions and you can't even explain it?
100 jobs.
100. We can go back. I can find the tape, and if anybody disputes, we can play it. He was sitting right where Bala is sitting now. And I said, tell us how you can create 100 jobs. This is about a couple of years ago. And he couldn't explain it.
Some people don't leave what the manifesto say.
No,
I mean, they just say it for the sake of
cheap.
saying.
These words are cheap. We will empower youth. We will empower women. Empower them.
Healthcare, farmers.
You know, if you say any of those things, all we have to do as the public or as journalists is say, how?
Is to scrutinize.
How? Simple question.
To ask questions.
Do you know when people were going for nomination for the presidency and we had all these people turning up? Ask my reporters, they will tell you. I said, ask them one simple question. Why should anybody vote for you? Some of them couldn't even answer that question. So why are you saying I want to be president if you can't say in 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences why people should vote for you? It's not rocket science. Why should anybody vote for you? Tell us. Why are you putting yourself forward? So people need to think before they do these things.
Yeah, you know, before we don't have things like this where parties, I know, even if parties parties used to have their manifesto, like, you know, that is one general manifesto. This is the manifesto of the party and all that. But like coming up with manifestos every 5 years for an election, saying what you want to do, it's a good thing. You know, but like Ade says, it's one thing about having a manifesto and the other thing about how realistic some of the agendas or the points are. So when you look at it, it's good to ask the questions. Yes, like you said, how are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? So that is where the role of the media comes,
Yeah.
comes in place, where we have to look at things, scrutinize, ask the relevant questions, But I think it's a good thing that, at least a political party will come forward to say,
Yeah,
if you vote me into government, this is what I am going to do for you.
Yeah.
I'll
So
do
now,
this.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
Because, for us, not just the media, for the public.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, why should I vote for you if you can't explain how you're going to help me do what you said you're going to do?
We help the public understand some of these things as a
That's
media.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So police arrest 3 individuals over alleged $2 million scam.
Yes, when I saw this, I was surprised to find you at work this morning, Mr. Balde. I was like, oh, has he been,
Oh yeah.
has he been arrested?
Has he been freed?
Where's my cut from the 2 million? Yeah, I'm not sure what the scam involved, because again, we've said this many times before, that sometimes you can't get the full story from the headline.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can, because we know what the story is, but sometimes like this. So I don't know what the scam was, and
Well, from what I've read, I mean, on other platforms,
Right.
they are Nigerian nationals.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
they were found with this huge amount of money, and investigation been carried out by the Gambia police, and they realized it's sort of a scamming business.
So it,
No,
was,
I
it
think-
wasn't that they'd been saving up their fish money or anything like
No,
that.
I think the police, based on their statement, I read last night, I
Okay.
think the police said they were informed about these individuals,
Okay.
and they have been investigating them.
Okay.
And then they
Okay.
Now
They've
they've
been
arrested
doing
them.
it.
Right.
when they visited them, then they went to arrest
Arrested.
them.
They found all
found
this
out that they had
That bulk.
shot 2 million, or is it 2.2 million or 2.3
Okay.
in?
I think
Yes,
sometimes they just round it up to 2 million.
Yeah, something like that. So they had over 2 million, I would say, with
Okay.
them when at the time of the arrest. So, and they said investigations are still going on, but for now they're charged with theft.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so for
okay.
now,
Right.
yes, they're
So
charged with theft.
hence
But
the word
investigations
scam.
are still ongoing.
Yeah. So maybe they've been scamming people.
And
Say
all
we
that,
can do
yeah.
this, we can do
Yeah.
that. Okay. Do you want to go to the next one on Standard? ECOWAS deploys a pre-election fact-finding mission to the Gambia.
I saw the EU also. Was it
Yes,
last
because
week?
now they all tend to come and say, okay, let's see, are the conditions free and fair, and so on. Let's see whether are people being intimidated from vote. So those are the kind of things that they look at. But I've always joked that I've never read of the Gambia sending a pre-election mission to the UK, to Spain, to France, Belgium, Portugal, or anything. We never do.
No, but the thing is, we look at it, maybe just say ECOWAS. We know the EU will come here, But the ECOWAS, I'm not sure they send election observers to the European Union or their country, Spain like this and all that. So maybe not Gambia, but let's say ECOWAS.
Quite.
ECOWAS, we don't see it, but we see EU and all these will come. Anyway, they are partners, and sometimes they fund some of these things.
Quite.
But for me, Gambia is not like other countries. Like I was telling Francis the other day, like in Ghana, when it's election year, from January, or sometimes 2 years before the election, like in Uganda, they started campaigning, was it 2 years before election? Like, I mean, not official campaign, but you can tell election is coming up, campaigning here and there, political activities, parties going to their nomination. And, when they are nominating their presidential candidates or their representative in, local government elections and all that, but they have elections like it's national election. Like even if NPP is selecting their presidential candidate, they will vote in URR, vote in CRR. They are party agents in all those regions. They will not all come to Kogredaba. No, they will stay where they are
and they vote.
They will vote. And television stations will have live coverage. To say, okay, Balde is winning, NPP in this place, Ade also is winning. So at the end of the day, Ade is finally the flag bearer of the NPP because he won this number of votes in Basse here. So it's like they do it just like the way the national election is done.
And it's kind of in the way that they do it in America. So the party, they have conventions.
Yeah.
And at those conventions, the delegates choose who they want to be the presidential candidate. And it's, as you said, it's very similar. In Sierra Leone, they have similar thing where they have the convention. And then the convention. So, for example, for the last 2 or 3 years, lots of people have been putting Fatima Bio forward as a potential.
I saw that.
And of course, when the BBC asked her, she said, "If Allah wills it."
So
that wasn't the question. They said, "Do you want to be president?" They didn't say, "Does Allah want you to be president of Sierra Leone?" Yes. She definitely wants the job, and I think everybody knows that. It's not a secret, and she's been flattered by all these people, because when you hear her speak as a public speaker, and I can say this, before Mada Bio won his first election, I actually went to an event in London at a place called Walworth Road. There's a hall that they always hire. And he spoke and she spoke. And I'm telling you, if voting for president was based on the speeches they gave that day, she would have been the
yes,
one.
she's a good public
She gave a
speaker.
brilliant speech.
Yeah.
I mean, I just went as a media person to observe it, but she gave a brilliant speech, and he was dreadful. And yeah, so that was even before he won that first election.
Yeah,
It
so
will be
let's move on.
interesting. It will be very interesting. But like, before you move on to this, just to tell you, okay, this is ECOWAS coming here
for the
pre-election thing and all that.
monitoring.
Nothing is up. If you come to the Gambia, you can't even tell it's election year.
Yeah, quite.
So Gambia, election starts after, election mood starts after nominations. That is when it starts, unlike other countries, to be very honest. But that just tells you how Gambia is in terms of politics and how we look at things, you know. But it's different from other countries. Even in Senegal nowadays, you saw that.
It gets
when
really
it was time for
hot.
election, you saw how things were and all that. But
very
Gambia,
tense.
anyway, we thank God for what we have, the peace.
Normally we are
and,
100% into it, like 3 months to...
That's what I'm saying. That's after nomination.
After
3 months
After
to
nomination.
the day itself.
Yeah.
So woman 20 arrested for the alleged murder of a man, a truck driver at Welingara guest house.
Ladies have been arrested?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yesterday we were talking about
I think I saw a video of a lady who went to the owner of the guest house, telling the guest house owner, there is a man shouting in one of your apartments.
Shouting?
Yes, shouting. So before the guy went to check what's happening, then the lady disappeared. So probably that's the lady arrested. You know.
Yes,
so it's really very unfortunate incident.
Tragic.
Yeah, that's why sometimes when we see things on social media, we should not rush them. Because the first story I saw before the police put out a statement, the story reads a man stabbed to death.
Yes,
guest
that's
house.
exactly.
So
That
when the
was what
police came out
they
with their
clarified
statement,
that.
said no, he was found dead.
Found dead.
But didn't
They
find
didn't say
any
stab
wounds, so
wound.
that wasn't like stabbing and all that. So well, like you said, it's unfortunate because we see all these cases of murder and all that. But right now, one cannot conclude that it is a murder case. We have to wait for the police.
You know, when these things happen, people say different things. In fact, I saw a different one that said, okay, it's the woman's husband that murdered the man.
Social media.
So people say anything.
Everybody is a journalist. I can be in my bedroom and write what I want. So it's left to you to believe it or not.
Maybe he died by his own.
It could be natural
causes. Natural death. Maybe it's an attack or something. Nobody knows.
Until
but whatever the investigations are on.
We leave it to the coroner, and because if it's a murder case, they'll bring in the coroner.
So please take us through the stories.
Yes, you want some more?
Yes.
So we have, as usual, there's an interesting one here. It says Africa's cash economy. This is from Foroya. Africa's cash economy is holding back growth. A new report warns. Even though we talk about we're doing a lot of cashless thing. Really, a lot of the stuff we do, a lot of these informal ones, you go along the road, you see lots of people who have mechanics garages, you see people selling food and so on. You don't use your, Q money or Wave or whatever. A lot of time you use cash. So it's still a huge part of the thing. And essentially what they're saying is this is holding back growth.
But I'll tell you something. I think people are now adopting.
It's on the rise.
Without compared to before, now you go to petrol stations, you pay with your electronic
money.
you understand?
So
and even
but
taxi
sometimes
drivers,
you go to them and they're like, oh, that phone is off.
Yes.
I'm like,
so we are there. We're getting there. Even taxi drivers now, you just scan on their
and the interesting thing is, even though in the West they kind of embraced it fully. Actually, it was in East Africa that the kind of, particularly Kenya, Uganda,
this mobile money
really took off. I learned that the last time you went to England, you wanted to pay with cash, and they said, no, we don't take cash.
There was a sign.
Even in China, you go to places, they tell you, they don't take cash.
And so in where my house is in Bromley, because of that experience, I started looking, and all the restaurants and many shops actually have signs. We no longer accept cash at this establishment.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, you have to pay with your
But
it's
like
easy.
you said, okay, I know you said we are getting there, yes, but very slow.
Yes, yeah.
Give you a good example. GTS yesterday, I went there to get a ticket, and when I was speaking to someone on the phone, and the person told me, "Oh, you could have just used this particular app. I don't want to advertise." I was like, okay. So, you know, the person told me, you know, what to do and all that. So when I checked the app, I looked at it. Oh, it was nice. You can actually see, you know, the available seats. And also, you know, when the bus is also fully booked, you can also see that on the app.
Okay.
But I said, okay. I said, oh,
Let
when
me
I'm
try.
coming back from, no, I said,
Okay.
I bought the ticket, but when I'm
Right,
coming
right.
back from Basse, I'll use this.
Right.
So I said, let me look at it. Maybe let me just book
Yeah,
my
yeah,
return
yeah,
trip.
yeah, yeah.
You know, so when I looked at it, there is nothing like from Basse to Cardiff.
But you know what I was saying?
Huh?
Maybe you book and probably you are booking last month's, boss, probably. So
No,
these
no,
things
no.
need to be
No, but
updated.
this one, it
Yeah.
was right. Because when I looked at it,
Yeah.
because I bought,
Okay.
that was like 30 minutes before I bought my ticket.
Okay.
After I bought my ticket, sorry.
Okay.
My ticket seat is at number 12.
I was going to say it gives you a seat number.
Yeah, number 12.
Yeah, go
so
on.
when I looked at the app,
Seat
I
12
saw
was
this
taken.
Seat 12 is taken. So the seats available were from 17
Okay.
going up, you know, but
Yeah.
from below 17 has been fully booked. I was like, oh, okay, so this is working. So let me book my return from Basse. I looked at it. There's nothing like from Basse. The only thing it shows you is from Carnifing to Basse,
Oh.
and also from Carnifing to Dakar.
Okay, not from Basse.
Not from Basse to Carnifing, and not from Dakar to Carnifing. I'm like, this app is not fully working.
Oh.
And the thing is, GTSC, you know, if that's a very good thing. Even the ferry now, they have an
Yeah,
app.
yeah, yeah,
I heard
right.
Aliu Jallo the last time telling our colleague, telling someone, oh, do I using the app? Was it? I don't know. Someone was, do you use the app to check the movement of the ferry? When Keba called came.
Okay, right, yeah.
So, you know, I was like, oh, so the ferry also, you can track the ferry, the movement. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And also, but I think one thing they should do is you should be able to use your app, that the same ferry's app, to buy your ticket as well. So when you just get there, you just show it to them, they scan
them
it,
the
and then,
ticket,
yeah,
yeah.
you go.
In fact, I
So
thought they
GTS
had
is a
that.
good thing they have that,
Yeah.
but it's not complete.
Yeah.
So those from Basse cannot book in advance to come, because you have to go there early in the morning and queue, you know, and oh man.
So I think it would have been much easier, the developer, just to also add from Basse, to Banjul.
Well, I
Makes
hope,
life
I hope
easy.
they're listening, because that's a big
Yeah, because for me
minus.
now, if I'm coming back from Basse, I'll have to go to the bus stop. Yeah, Balde knows.
Because
You want to use the first bus, people sleep there. People
go
are
very
there as
early.
early as 3 a.m. Because, you know, that bus, it leaves Basse at 6, by
Yeah.
11 it is here.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everybody wants to use it to get here on time, you know, and do other stuff. So people go there as early as 3 a.m. And I'm not going to do that for anybody, man. I'm not catching a flight.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I think these things, they make life very easy for everybody.
They do,
sit
but as
in your
Bala
house and
says,
you do your thing.
we're getting there, but we're getting there slowly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we've also seen the government.pay.
GovPay,
that one.
absolutely.
I've
That's a
used.
good
It
thing.
is also.
I think it was Ade who actually showed me how to use it. The last I was struggling with some
Yes,
papers,
I
so,
used it when I was applying passport for my
Right.
little sister.
Right.
And now I can see it is integrated in the Q Money.
It is a Q
app,
Money.
Yeah,
app
Q Money
as
has
well.
it, yeah.
You
And
can,
I went to Ajib the last time to pay, so
Yeah.
So it's,
And you know, when I first came to the Gambia, myself and my landlord, we used to go to near Q City to pay for Q Power.
Nawek.
Nawek thing.
Yes,
power.
at the
And then I
junction.
just said to him one day, I said, well, hang on, I can just sit here and do it with my Q
Money.
Money, Q Power. And then, of course, since then, of course, you know, we used to drive by and we see these long queues
Yeah,
outside
yeah.
all these places. And you see less and less of that now.
Yeah,
Because even
now you hardly see.
you
those
hardly
queues.
see,
you hardly
Yeah.
see
you hardly
queues.
see those
Yeah.
queues because
So,
everybody's
yeah,
now.
we're
So
coming
it's
up, right?
we're getting there. We're
Yeah.
getting there. We're
Yeah, I
getting
know
there.
by the time we get the 100%,
Yeah.
I mean, life would be much easier for everyone.
And when that happens also, like you said, it will promote economic growth and all that, like you said. So the casting is holding us back.
Yeah.
You know, because you travel outside the Gambia, you notice a lot of people, you know, actually don't use it. They're like, oh, somebody actually, oh, this, are you scanning? Or no, they ask you those questions. So you can tell, oh, in my country, no one will ask you that.
Yeah.
Are you
I mean, in
scanning?
the
You
UK,
have
on
to
the
pay.
train, on the bus, on whatever, you know, so in the UK, for example, you can use two things. You can either use the bus pass, which has a prepaid amount on it. You tap and it tells you how much you've got left, or you can use your debit or credit card.
Okay.
You just tap
And you know what this is going to
enough.
do? It's going to reduce the old notes that we have circulating.
These
Even,
filthy notes.
I mean, very old notes have been circulating,
Yeah, yeah,
especially the $20, you know, and the 5. So
You look at other countries, like for instance Nigeria, when you want some of their dramas or skits, like they will be like, you know, Bala, I need some cars. I'll be like, yeah, sure, send me your account number. There's nothing like, you know, let me prove and
what
start
is your
counting.
account number?
Yeah, send me your account number. That's it. So
give
you
me
see
your bank's name.
cashless, you know.
So that is what it is. I mean, we'll be there. They take us through.
Yeah. So there's another story, which I think the funeral was yesterday.
Keba Mbai, Yunus Mbai.
Yunus Mbai.
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
Okay. Yeah. So some people, I think for example, it impacted Youth Dialogue. Because some people who were expected to come,
already,
they had gone. They'd gone for the funeral, and so.
Yeah.
You know,
so this is a tragedy that happened. I mean, you know, right now the case is with the government of the Gambia. They are handling this stuff. The courts.
Excuse me.
Probably justice. It's not even probably. Justice will be served accordingly. You know, we have our law books, each crime and what it entails.
According to of course, yeah. So related. I mean, I don't want to keep going on about murders because I'm one of these people who, you know, when I was starting my journey in journalism, they would tell you that just the fact that people report on a lot of things doesn't mean a lot of those things are happening. It just means that they've realized that this is what the public likes to read about. And journalism is like that.
Yeah.
You know, if they think, you know, attacks on phone snatching. You know, do you know, for example, when I came here in 2019 and I was doing research for a story, and I went on this telly something, it's a thing that it analyzes phone use around the whole world. And it said in the Gambia in 2019, it said there are 3.5 telephones per head of population. So more phones than people in the Gambia. And now it's probably 4 or 5. That was 2019.
Yeah, people own 3 phones.
So, you know, it's people, you know, so you do your research, you find the evidence. And so we were able to use that statistic. But when we were learning as journalists, they would tell us that, you know, for example, they used to say teenage crime in UK is on the rise.
Yeah.
And then when you look at the percentage of teenagers who were committing crimes, this used to be a thing in the 50s and early 60s, they made up less than 5%. But the newspapers realized that the audience liked to read about teenage criminals and you know, our teenagers, they're all turning into criminals. And so those stories would hit the front page. But when they would say to a journalist, okay, go to the police and get the statistics of the ages of people who have committed crimes, 5%.
Yeah.
And yet they took up 90% of the coverage. And so that's the thing that we're always trying to get away from. Yeah. You know, I saw one of our colleagues write a letter on his Facebook page yesterday, 2 days ago, to the president. You must address this crime wave. And I said, my guy, you didn't quote a single statistic. You mentioned 1 murder, 2 murder. There are 2.7 million people in the country. That person who was murdered is tragic. Of course it is.
Absolutely.
But it's not 1,000 people. It's not 2,000 people. You know.
And there's a crime rate is on the rise.
And then it's on the rise. Give us the stats to prove that. Because the statistics do not support it. And one is not trying to downplay the seriousness of crime.
Yes.
You know, our own colleague left here after reading the news and had her phone snatched as she was standing on the corner. Julde. You know, it's one incident, it's shocking. But it's not as if 1,000 phones were stolen that day. That would make it a serious matter. But we hear about these things because we hear about phone snatching and so on. But we have to be careful. And that's so, you know, even though I was about to mention another case, I'll mention it because it says Omar Fraser denies killing friend Keba Ndoye. And that case is before the courts and he's now denied the charge.
Yeah. Going back to what you said, because yesterday the government put out a release saying, you know, we are very wary of certain, you know, murder cases and all that. Yeah. The government is committed to addressing, you know, security concerns and all that. But that does not, you know, go to tell that security lapses are on the rise or, you know, should I say crime also is in the increase and all that. So that's not it. So they were just trying to reassure the public of safety. But Mr. Some of these things are still new to the Gambia. Me, I always say that. When the previous government was here, the murder cases happening here that they are underreported. You know, because then JRTS.
A police guy told me that. He said
Yeah.
they were underreported.
Yeah.
He said because they were scared
Yes.
that the president would crack down on them.
They
and
were
say,
underreported.
you know,
That's why when people
a
say
policeman
underreported,
told
I'm
me
like,
that.
you know, it's not like it's getting any worse.
Yeah.
It was happening before.
Yeah.
And that was why at some point the president got fed up and was like, you know what, if you kill somebody, I'll kill you. And we saw when he started killing people.
That's right.
Because it was on the rise.
Yeah.
So I've not seen, since 2017 and now, we have not seen Gambia getting to that stage where one will say, you know, these murder cases are getting to an extent that, you know, we have to start killing people and all that. Fine, like you said. All
we
the
are
cases,
not ruling the fact
Yeah.
that it's not happening.
it's serious, it's happening,
It's
and it's
happening,
serious.
yes.
You know, it calls for concern. All these little, like you said, little details, you know, it's important to pay attention to all these things because we don't want it to get to a stage like where we have, you know, this
So
thing.
one thing I don't like is what people do a lot. I mean, they make the Gambia look very ugly, you know, in terms of crimes.
Yeah,
You know,
and
sometimes I think that can threaten even our tourism sector.
Well, yes.
But if you
it is-
anybody, just not statistics are there, show it. Even most recently, Gambia was listed among how I don't know peaceful countries, something like so. You know, people in the Gambia say these things, but when other people come here do their surveys, they come out with this positive. Anybody out there outside the Gambia watching this show, this is one of the most peaceful countries in Africa. Trust me.
Yeah.
People come here, they live peacefully, they go about their business peacefully. Like any other country, you have minor incidents here and there. But when it comes to peace and tranquility, this country is something that we are absolutely proud of, and that is what we have. We have our challenges, absolutely.
Exactly.
But not compared to even other countries bigger than us in terms of economy and strength in other areas. But Gambia is absolutely doing well in maintaining peace and order.
That's right. And you said about tourism. It's not just about tourism. These things end up scaring even citizens and residents.
And investors.
And you know, and so the reason why I always address it online, and about a month ago, I had a back and forth with somebody on one of the social media platforms because there was a murder case, and he was saying, you know, this is what was the case? Two men who were friends had an argument, and one ended up stabbing the other. And I'm thinking, how would the government have stopped that?
Yeah.
How would the police have stopped that? People argue and fight every day.
Absolutely.
The fact that one picked up a knife and stabbed the other,
It's the attitude. And
they can't be everywhere to settle
there are
every single
situations that
argument.
are so close.
Of
There are
course,
situations that are so close you cannot do anything
look,
about it.
statistics here, any country you go to,
Yeah.
most people are killed by people they know.
Mr. Moj mentioned that yesterday. He
Oh,
said
right,
the same thing.
right.
He said the same thing yesterday.
Well,
He
there
said
you are.
when you look at all these murder cases, out of 100, 90%
There is a
are by
relation.
people they know.
They know,
You know, people who are close.
Yeah.
You know, so definitely. And me, like for instance, I'll give you a good example. When my recent trip to China, we were with some Kenyan guys. We were talking about, you know, our countries and all that. So when they started talking about how dangerous is it in Kenya that, you know, your phone, you know, can be snatched from you, you will not even notice it, you know, and how somebody can come, you know, pretending like you are in need of something,
Right,
somebody
right.
pretend as helping you, before you know the next minute you are scammed or you were robbed. You know, they were just saying how it is dangerous and how you cannot walk at night 8 p.m. alone, you know, in the streets
some- in
you know,
some
in most of
areas,
their areas in
Yeah,
Kenya.
yeah.
You know, I was like, wow. They said yes because they have these gangs, they have this, you know. I was like, wow. And then one of our colleagues, Mankajang, was like, you know, in the Gambia, no man, you can walk in the streets at, you know, 12 a.m. at night, you know, and nothing will happen to you. They're like, what? In
Yeah.
Kenya, are you mad? 12 a.m. at night?
Even 4 a.m.
Yeah, they said they didn't walk.
Let
They-
alone 4 a.m.
trust me, I'm on
Yeah,
record.
if
I'm
it's
saying
all-
this.
yeah,
I'm on record.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is Kenyans telling me this, and I was with someone who is at the director level in the government, and did not deny. He said, "Yeah, people there are crazy. People out there." I'm like, in our country, it's like, you know what? I think I'll come to Gambia and you know, build a retirement home. You know, so that get to tell you, Balde, how, you know, peaceful this country is, how much we're enjoying the peace that we have, and let's value it. It's very important.
Let's value it, and let's not exaggerate.
Yeah.
you
So let's do some football.
know? Yes. Shall-
England played yesterday.
Ghana. Let's start with Ghana.
Let's go with
brother.
Ghana,
Africa.
please.
We have another
So-
3 points.
Yes.
we have 3 points because we had been monitoring and we were hoping that, you know, they would, you know, because previously the only 3 points we had were given to us by Ivory Coast. Obviously the most creditable ones were Morocco drawing with Brazil, Cabo Verde drawing with Spain.
Absolutely.
But then yesterday Ghana played and 90th minute plus 5 added on. There were 6 minutes added on, and in the 5th minute of those added on times they scored. Believe me, I have no idea how they managed to score. In the whole of the first half, they did not have a shot. Never mind shot on target. They did not have a shot worthy of the name. One of their fullbacks around the 43rd minute had a shot. So if that's the goal, it ended up by the corner flag. I'm serious. That was their only, you couldn't even call it a shot. So and that was it. And Panama played all the good football.
Is that it? Panama played all the good football. Panama entertained the viewers, entertained the crowd.
And they lost.
At the end of the day, Ghana got
Ghana
the 3
won.
points.
That's
It's
it.
the most important
Oh,
thing.
no. That's why I said I'm glad we got the 3 points, because we'll take it, because you know, for us, and I'd said even yesterday that, you know, I want the West African nations particularly to do well.
This
you know, so this is you know, so Cote d'Ivoire, Cabo Verde, you know, obviously Senegal lost, you know, but yeah, it's been an interesting World Cup.
So far, West Africa, we're making Africa proud.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you know.
Probably Senegal
Cape
will
Verde
also
drawing to Spain.
Yeah,
I didn't see that coming.
Neither did
I didn't see that coming. That was like, that was more than a victory for them. And for the first time, that was that they were playing against former champions.
This is it.
You know,
and favourites to win this.
Favourites to win this, you know, definitely. So that was a big thing.
So they got a strong
So
team.
the 5th favourites are Portugal, and they drew with DR Congo.
That's the biggest surprise.
That was an equally.
I wasn't happy with that anyway, because, you know, at least even if the draw was there, no problem. But Chris should have scored.
Chris should have scored. At least, you know, this Messi and Chris thing, you know.
He should have responded to Messi's hat-trick, but he had a dreadful game. And this morning, if you read the newspapers, in fact, the BBC headline is the coach too scared to drop Ronaldo? That's the headline.
But Mr. Day, when you looked at it,
was very
Ronaldo
ineffective.
always had like 2 or 3 people on him, like
because of who he
constantly.
is. Because of who he is.
Constantly. So, you know, you don't expect. So that's why when Senegal were playing against and Gajaga, we discussed it before the match.
The Mbappe thing.
Mbappe, trust me, they need to watch Mbappe. And they let Mbappe free. And, you know, people like players like that with the quality.
Senegal got overconfident and thought, we can leave this guy. You don't leave Mbappe. Put 2 people on him every time.
And you saw the end results. He got 2 goals at the end of the day.
Chris didn't have a shot on target. Chris Ronaldo. You know why?
Time.
No, because
they
he was
had people
Marshall.
on him all the time.
And DRC, I think they surprised everybody because I watched the BBC coverage, and they had 3 people in the studio, 3 people at the thing. All of them predicted minimum 3-0 victory for Portugal. Minimum. Some thought it would be more. And yet, once the game started, trust me, DRC. I mean, the thing that did annoy me is they kept saying that this is DR Congo's debut in the World Cup. Well, they were there as Zaire. It's the same country, different name, but it's not their debut. You know, so that kind of did get on my nerves.
I just hope one day.
They said it the day before, but then when they kept saying it throughout the commentary, I was like, stop it. You know, but it's good. I mean, I'm glad you said let's talk about football, because there have been some you know, new stars emerging, and people like, wow, you know, where does this guy come from, you know? So, and you always get that at World Cup.
That Moroccan guy, the 18-year-old.
18-year-old.
That guy is amazing.
Like, and now all these clubs are after him.
Yeah, that guy is amazing. Which club is he playing for currently? Is he playing for any big club?
I think he is. But
good.
the guy was.
And then I saw a video when the Moroccans were laughing when he was introducing himself. It's like he's not very good in their language. So you know, when he was talking, the way he was picking the words one by one, so they were clapping like he was singing. You know, he was actually. So yeah, some of this is good. Some of these players who, you know, have African roots, you know, who were born in Europe and all that, they play maybe in the under 17 at the youth age and all that, and they want to come to play for the senior country team. It's a good thing. Senegal, look at their national team. Most of the players there were playing for France under 17.
And the same in 2002 when they, in fact, when they beat France in 2002, every single player was playing for a French club, and some had even represented France at under 17. And I don't know if it was on here or wherever I mentioned that, you know, in Paris alone, there are 53 players playing at this World Cup who were born in Paris. Not in France, in Paris. So if you extended that to France, you're probably over 120
so
or
most
something.
of these people, they got exposure. And,
they have exposure. They were born there and you know, decided at some point that they were going to represent the country of their parents, you know, birth.
So at this point, we'll take a short break. And after the break, then we will talk to the only chef. Our chef,
Bonjour,
the only
monsieur.
chef here. Yeah, so we'll be back. We are back. This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Balde. When there is food, there is life. I mean, everybody is happy. That's why when everybody sees Chef Bojang, I mean, everybody smiles for him because food is life, you know. All these things that we are doing, going to work every day, at the end of the time is to put food on the table.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, so we have Chef Sekou Bojang here, and of course, celebrating Africa gastronomy. Gambian chef honored as culinary icon. Chef Bojang, it's good to have you here, my brother.
Thank you, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So what do we have today in the kitchen?
Well, we have a lot, ranging from our Findi Bahal, Findi Domada, Findi salads, all available. Today
oh my God, your chukong the other day, it killed me. I enjoyed the catfish, I mean chew, man. It was nice. Yeah, so
Incredible.
It's good to have you to talk about this.
Right.
How do you feel to be honored with this?
I feel great. Initially, I didn't even know what it was, you know, what it meant until after when I had a little interaction with or engagement with the team. So I then realized that, ooh, so I must have made a major impact on this culinary summit.
Yeah, right.
Because I didn't know that I was pretty much the only one who was the resource person on that event, which was like attended with almost every single state of Nigeria was represented, at least with about 30, 40 people. And within Abuja as well. It was a great one as well, actually. Yeah. So I feel really great, humbled, honored, and in fact encouraged, I would say.
And what I always like about it, you've you know, had so many honors that if you had a shelf, it must be creaking under the weight. But Gambia always gets mentioned.
Yes.
And for me, that's the big thing. Whether it's been in London when I was there, or it's now in Abuja, Gambia always gets recognized.
True.
Thanks to you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. Because of course, Gambia is what we have, and I always believe in this. Is like your home can only be made by you. You wouldn't need to wait for someone to come and fix your house.
Yeah, fine.
So Gambia is our house. It's all what we have. So if we can fix it, then we don't expect anyone to come and fix our own homes.
Yeah. And for the viewers, just so you know, both Balde and I have sampled, so we're not just talking out of theory. We have sampled chefs, you know, culinary efforts, and we can speak with some experience and recommendation. But in terms, I mentioned before you even came on that one of the things that I found inspiring about you was when I went to the near the Senegambia,
right?
The restaurant there. You had all these young people.
Yes.
That you were training, that you were empowering.
Right.
And you said something, at that day, I went there with Sona and her team.
Yes.
And you were telling us about how some of these, you encourage them to actually go out and start their own businesses.
Very
and
true.
Their own establishment. And that really impressed me.
Yeah, true, because my business is more of I'm more of a social entrepreneur. So what I believe in, and there's a lot of young underprivileged girls, and they also need to be reassured, you know, that they still have a life and they're still, you know, valuable in our society. So what I do is like, I kind of have a little counseling with them, coach them a little bit, then encourage them to come and join my team. And actually, they don't pay me for trainings. In fact, I subsidize towards their travels, and I feed them as well. And in fact, when they get better, to inspire them to or encourage them, I will, you know, sponsor some of them to go and do a culinary degree. Then from there, and they come back for more training, practicals, and I eventually will, you know, get them somewhere to work. So that's what I've been doing.
So for anybody watching for the first time, how did this journey start? To you know, how did Chef Bojang become Chef Bojang?
Wow. I think I need to have what? But well, anyways, to cut it short,
the concise version.
Right. Let me just go straight on that. So, I never thought of being a chef.
Oh.
Right. So I started off being someone who was interested in biomedical science. But to start with, before that, was doing more of pharmacology.
Okay.
You know, and then from there, and I had the opportunity to start to read in the UK. So whilst I was reading to be able to sponsor myself, I was working in a hotel, Holiday Inn Hotel, Reading South, Basingstoke Road.
Okay.
So and then someone, the breakfast chef got sick, and then they were asking for someone to volunteer.
Okay.
And I volunteered, and during the time of my, contact with the food and stuff, I didn't know even what a poached egg was at the time. You know, and then through that, I got trained on how to do a few things, fry a few things, bake, poach, stuff like that. And then within a week, I was able to get a few things.
Okay.
You know, 2 weeks down the line, a month later on, the guy decided to quit.
Right.
So they actually said to me, you know what,
Wow.
run the kitchen.
The job is yours.
So
Wow.
then they asked if I was interested to be sponsored to go and get my culinary degree. I'm like, yeah, why not?
Yeah,
So I waited. I was like, okay, for this, I'm paying for myself. And this
Right.
thing,
Yeah.
I'm getting a scholarship
Then
for it.
you
So
quit the other one.
yeah, I didn't quit. I paused it.
That's right.
It might come back again. You
You
never know
never
because
know.
it's still in me
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Still. So then got taken to Reading College.
Yeah,
You know,
I
to do professional cookery there. And
I
then
went to school in Newbury in Berkshire, so it's
Oh,
not far.
that's like
Just down the road.
I do the Newbury race course.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you are, just down the road. Yeah,
Yeah, I did a lot of work in Newbury because if you know the
Yeah.
Stock Cross,
Yeah, of course,
Vineyard,
Yeah, yeah, of
I
course.
was working at Vineyard
really?
as well,
Oh, I
at
know
the,
it.
the
Yeah,
Michelin
yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
I
the
know
Michelin
it.
star restaurant. So from there in, they sponsored me to do the professional cookery, Reading College, Reading University. And from there, I got back to the hotel, and then we had a bond, and they would sponsor me to go and do my bachelor's at Westminster.
Okay.
So, that's how it all started. Then I did well, they didn't stop there. They had to send me to France to do my Cordon Bleu.
Yeah, right.
And I was in Ferrandi, and then,
Okay.
alhamdulillah, from there in, when I came back, I was doing quite a lot of things.
Sometimes in life, what I've learned from him, there are other things that destiny just guides you
That's it.
towards
That's it.
them. Imagine you went to study a different thing.
Yeah.
Now you got the opportunity to be a chef.
I
mean,
know.
nobody thought that would happen.
I know. And in fact, that was one of the reasons why I was reluctant to be at the graduation. So I never attended the graduation.
Oh, your graduation.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, I don't want people to know that I'm studying to be a cook.
Because
so at
of
the time,
kind
it's time looking about 20 years ago.
yeah.
In a female industry,
Dominated
according to our
yeah,
tradition and culture, we wouldn't want to be associated in kitchen work.
Sure.
So we
Yes.
have that shy
Yeah.
feel.
That's for the women.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, but if I know if I knew what I know now,
Yes, you would.
in fact, I'll be on the table
Yeah, yeah,
or the podium
yeah.
to celebrate that I'm,
Yeah.
I'm graduated as a culinary master.
So in terms of what you learned, I'm assuming there, both Cordon Bleu and previously to that in Reading, you wouldn't have had much chance to cook Gambian dishes, or did you?
I did, because
Uh-huh,
I've always
'cause I did
been
wonder.
promoting Gambian
Right,
cuisine.
uh-huh.
Even when I go on trials,
Right.
I'll have a touch of Gambian in
Okay,
it.
great.
So I mainly used to be either Domoda or Yassa. These two,
Right.
one of them
Because-
have been
yeah,
part of
yeah.
my my secret touches, or maybe that could be my voodoo.
Well, quite. So
So
the
it worked well.
temptation must have been, because of your experience, your qualifications, and where you'd worked, the temptation could have been, let me just stay in Europe,
Yeah,
and you would have been well paid there, and really, you and I know this.
yeah.
But you chose to come back
Yes.
home. What was the pull?
Right. So there was a time I was working at Royal Ascot, and then I was the chef for one of the top restaurants in the On4. If you know Royal Ascot, On4 Panorama or an Host Work restaurant, I was the one running it for 2 consecutive years. And then every race, I'm the one running it. So what I saw was like, there are loads of things that we throw here in the Gambia that have been used in the cuisine. Like for instance, when it comes to fig tree, I don't know, fig in Mandika is called soto.
Okay.
The fruit.
Yeah.
It was a delicacy,
Right. Yeah.
and then it was expensive.
Yeah. Quite.
Then you go again, you have things like watermelon seeds,
Yeah.
pumpkin seeds.
Yeah.
Then at some point, I was to make a kind of a sauce, like a stew, but we had to use the dry mango seeds, the mango canal.
Yeah.
Inside of the mango, the canal.
yeah.
So
Oh,
that's what
okay.
I was like, We throw all this in my
We
country.
just throw it away.
And when you're doing the Thai curry,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
especially Thai green curry,
yeah, right.
we will have to use fresh lime leaves in it.
Yeah.
And then I was seeing lime leaves also being used as a component of an antioxidant in some of the cooking fusion cuisine.
Okay.
So I'm like, we have all this. So how can I also go home and enlighten or raise the awareness of the existence and the nutritional value of these items?
Wow.
So initially, I wanted to come back home since 2006.
Right.
So when I came first, I had a big disappointment at one of the hotels at the time, Bakau. And the chef who was there was working under me
Right.
at some point. He was from Thailand,
Okay.
called Prakop.
Yeah.
So when he came to the UK, I was the head chef.
Okay.
As young as I was,
Right.
he was working under me.
Right. Right.
And he said to me, "Are you Gambian?" I said, "Yes."
Yeah, yeah.
He said, "Why don't you go home and
Yeah,
make
yeah.
more money there?" I'm like, "Why? I was working in the Gambia as what? A chef." I'm like, "Wow."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I looked at the organogram.
Yeah.
I am the head chef.
Yeah.
I have my sous chef,
Yeah.
and he was my CDP, three
Oh,
down
wow.
below
Yeah,
me.
Yeah. Yeah. Quite.
So if he was paid about, I think he had about $1,800
Back then.
back then.
Yeah. Quite.
And then, so I'm like, I'll be fine with that. So that was also
part of
part of the
guys.
motivations that I can go home and make money in my own country,
Yeah.
rather than being frustrated in this country here. So
Yeah.
I never wanted to stay in the UK forever, actually.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So when I came, he introduced me to them, and I went there, and had to sit down with the team or the HR at the time. I put down my CV, took a picture, show him that I was with this guy, and on the names you can
Right,
see
right.
the grades. And then it was insulting,
Yeah.
because if a foreigner, because he was white,
Yeah. That's it.
paid
That is-
$1,800 at the time,
Yeah. Yeah.
plus another $18,000
Yeah.
risk allowance.
Yeah. Yeah. Quite.
They offered me $15,000.
Yeah.
So I busted in tears.
15,000.
Yeah, dollars.
Flat.
So then I was younger, so I was a bit,
Yeah.
it got me,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I lost.
Yeah.
You know.
After leaving.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah,
lost
yeah.
my,
Yeah.
I couldn't control it myself.
Yeah.
I just fired out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then from then, the next day I went home, I didn't take it. I went to the airport, and it was SM Brussels at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Told them, "Do you have any flight for the UK?"
Wow.
They said, "We can be on standby."
You went
That's
back.
how I went
Yeah.
back.
yeah.
So, and I said to myself, okay, I'll go back again. Then initially, I was also interested on a TV show at the time
Okay.
in having to do dishes from these items.
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
it was
yeah.
only GRTS.
Right.
But what happened was, like, when I was sending emails, I never get any response.
Now,
Yeah.
why am I not surprised to hear that?
Yeah, so
about
this
the Gambia?
was
That happened always.
20,
Yeah, yeah.
they say 20 years ago,
Yeah, yeah,
15
yeah.
years ago, I'm not sure, thereabout.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
dreams not happening. But hey ho, I'm here today.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So,
indeed, yeah.
Go
So is that
through.
part of what drives you now, that
Yeah.
you don't want fellow Gambians to go through what you went, that disrespect?
Yeah.
Because let's call it what it was.
Yeah.
It's disrespect.
Yeah.
Somebody has the same qualifications.
No,
And,
I was
and
higher.
even I was going to say, or
Yeah.
better, and yet you want to pay them less than the person because of this, and that is something that
discrimination,
is-
really.
is
That's a
complete.
no-no.
So does that kind of fired your journey and how you treat those who? Because I've seen how the respect they have for you,
Yeah.
and it's not just because you're their boss.
Yeah,
Nobody can fake that.
True.
That, respect is genuine.
True.
I've seen it there, and I've seen it at Allianz, where you
Yeah.
also have,
So one of the things that I do also, I do coaching sessions with my team. So once in a while, I'll sit one-to-one, talk them through about life, and career paths,
Sure.
and how to engage them more. In fact, for the trainees, every day before you go home, you have to come to me
Sure.
and shake hand, and of course, tell me what did you learn new on that very day.
Sure.
And every week, there's one person running the kitchen to be the lead, to help them on leadership, trainings and stuff like that. So I have a different way of having to mold them, in that obviously respect is definitely
of
will be
course.
earned through it too. Yeah.
And one of the things I've always wanted to ask you is that, have you ever been tempted to say, yes, you have these people come to you, have you ever been tempted to say, let me establish an institute here in the Gambia, and bring those standards similar to the ones that I went through when I was training, when I was doing my. It's not going to be. It's not going to be cheap.
Definitely not.
But you know, has that temptation
definitely.
ever been there?
I mean, it's still in me. I've always thought of it because, like I said, my main goal is the food lab.
Right.
And the food lab will be more of having to use our heritage or indigenous ingredients. How do we explore them? And in this food lab also there will be a training kitchen, wherein I'll be training youngsters mainly. In fact, now I'm looking into the inmates as well.
Right.
How do I extend my hand to them to support, at least help them understand basic, skills.
Yeah.
So being exactly, I will definitely, it's something that I've been thinking about.
Yeah.
Probably someday it will come true.
Because one of the reasons I ask is that when I go to the big hotels here, I see a lot of the people who are at the top. They're not Gambians.
Yeah.
And the people under them are all Gambians.
Yeah.
And I hate to keep going on about Cabo Verde, but I've been going there for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And it's the opposite.
Yeah.
You have lots of Cabo Verdeans at the top.
But also...
but how do we
I think also
change that
what
dynamic?
we can do to change that is we have to be ready as a people, as Gambians. And of course, it's really important that we show to the people that we are ready to take over.
Yeah.
I've been decorated again. So we should be ready to take over. Like I said, you don't expect someone to come and fix your house.
Right.
Fix your house, then when a visitor comes in, they're settling well,
quite.
under your terms and your conditions.
Yep.
So first of all, what I would urge my people, my Gambian, especially our chefs, go acquire the right skills. And do not be led by ego. Be led by principles of the professionalism.
Sure.
Get the right profession, skills, and of course the knowledge to be able to handle those positions being taken, that we believe are taken.
Sure.
But of course, if those positions are not taken by the right persons, then we're still crumbling.
Yeah.
So we need to get the right skills, the right mindset, the right attitude, discipline towards our professions.
Sure.
Then we are able to take over our own institutions.
I agree with you. Balde, any questions? I was just going to say, for me, it's always struck me as one of those jobs where you should only do it if you have a passion for it.
This looks very nice. I mean,
can you read the citation on the certificate there?
Yes, Association of Professional Chefs in Nigeria recognizes you, Chef Sanka Bojang, as culinary icon in Africa following your selfless contribution to the advancement of the culinary industry in Africa. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
This is what it says.
Even though the spelling got a bit wrong
They
there.
got it wrong, yes. They gave you a new middle name.
Sanka is also part of my name too. Yeah, so the Bojang there is the spelling.
Okay, they misspelled Bojang.
Bojong.
Okay.
But it's all good.
But it's him, really, and as you can see from the picture.
The picture, that's right. And of course, I believe we need to set our own standards.
Sure.
If we want people to respect us, we need to up our games.
Yeah, sure.
When we up our game, we will, of course, attract the right energy towards whatever we do. And I believe that's because whenever I'm going out, I don't go to say, okay, I'm going to be a bystander. I'm going in and I'm going for it.
Yeah,
and that's why I always say, I have two words. Even Sona was quoting me all those words on one of our speeches to say, I can and I will.
Yeah.
I will and I can. Yeah. So I'm guided by this, and I'm focusing on what matters makes you matter.
So you've said that, and if somebody's watching now, young man, young woman, and they say, I'd like to get into this, what would your suggestion, recommendation be beyond I can, I will, and so on? What would you recommend to them?
Recommendation will be, of course, now that you've got it, do not do it because of the money. Be passionate with it. If it's not passion-driven, then of course you drift off the track. So the first thing you do is having to contact any culinary institution in the Gambia or catering institution. Of course, there are a lot of them these days.
Sure.
So now it comes down to the quality of the skill set or the modules you're going to be trained on in that particular institution.
Sure.
But it is important that you acquire the theoretical aspect of it, even if it's practical of maybe 10%, we'll fix that.
Yeah.
But getting to know the basic, wherein the hygiene is known, the ethics are known, the principle of cooking, the kitchen mathematics are known, then when you come out, like if you come to me for advice, of course, I would definitely be ready for you, and I'll guide you through to wherever you want to go to, through the industrial or the catering industry. We have a lot of institutions in the Gambia, so I can guide you through where to go if needs be.
Sure.
Yeah, so finally, what do you have for people watching you right now?
Is there a message?
The message is we need to be ready to take responsibility of our own country. Let's fix it for ourselves. No one is coming to fix it for us. It's your own home. You don't expect a visitor to come and fix your house. Fix it yourself. Then the visitor will come in and they will settle in well, and they will be on your terms and conditions. Let's support each other. There's no room for jealousy, no competition. We're all doing great things. I am playing my part. I urge you to play your part too in our national development. If not, no one else will be held responsible for your downfall. It is entirely you.
Thank you, Chef. Thank you, Mr. Adi.
That's a very good message, and thank you for inviting me today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
So
you very
viewers, this is all we have for this week. We'll be back here next week for another edition of this program. Until then, bye-bye.